Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. This is your host, Martin Wong. Now, in this morning trading idea with SMARTRobie, we have seen that the KLCI started to make some up move after the sign of weakness, which is a fake sign of weakness. There were a lot of upside being trying to push up, but eventually the market came back down and it couldn't go lower. But one of the telling signs is the continuation buying of foreign fund. So check it out in our TWTR Pro dashboard for all things looking into the foreign funds. Now let's take a look at what we have for you this morning in our news headline. That's right. Now today is definitely Friday. Check out one of the posts that we have for the Green Pentagon since activated on 5th of July. Senso was up 85%, and that's how simple we want our user, SMARTRobie user, to follow the Green Pentagon. Of course, not all trade works out. So use mindfully with the trading plan and do exit or cut loss if necessary. Now let's look at what we have this morning in here for you, and of course our continuation of our collaboration with Rakuten. If you open up an account with Rakuten, you do stand a chance to win 50 ringgit brokerage voucher. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. And of course Friday we will be looking at the premium alert as well as some of the premium alert that we had last week, and I've seen the alerts since the market now is turning a little bit of bearish. A lot of the trades are gone nicely in here. So let's look at what the headlines we have. But let's take a look at what we have this morning in here, right? Going into the KLCI, switching to a wider chart here. You can see the whole point is just look at this range here that you see a little bit more green coming out right now. You can see the green certainly is for the tech sector. And remember, on Wednesday, those of you who check out my live FB, and thank you for coming, but the video has been archived. It's on the YouTube/TradeVSA. So subscribe to our YouTube and get all the things updated. So right now the market is almost unchanged, just minus 0.19% in here. Pasok, KGB, Kanga, the usual suspect. Server Dynamic is up. Wow, look at that. Oh no, that's Server Dynamic is up 2.4%, but WATTA is up 25%. Vitrox, Unisam, and take note, some of the stocks I talk about on Friday, also on Wednesday, which is, do you know what are those stocks? They are really moving up. We will take a look when we come to the lesson learned part. All right, and Nestle, Genentech, it's coming down in here. But let's take a look at the chart this morning, what we have. Now, as I said before, the market now is trying to test this trade that you work here. This is the KLCI. Right now, it is still yellow trend zone. As I said before, we are looking in somewhere in August where the Green Pentagon will be triggered and we will see the KLCI moving up. Right now, more importantly, in the shorter term, we want foreign funds to come in here, but definitely the takeout of the UT, right, the uptrust. It's important, and that's something we want to share with you, the uptrust in our one-day VSA workshop, which we are doing tomorrow. So if you want to register for that, there's a number on the right-hand side. There are some details. You can find out more about it. Let's take a look at what we have, and for the market so far has been great, and a lot has been said about the market, Malaysia economy recovery in here. And the economist, Mr. Lee here, said that the July and August month are important months where we see the number of vaccination. Number of vaccination to achieve herd immunity must be established in here. And right now we still have COVID cases, and the Delta variant, it's really spreading, and we have many people still dying. And I still think that the other day was a very unfortunate where we have close about 200 deaths from COVID-19 just on 2 days ago. And the numbers are piling up. But so much so, this article is talking about the continued lockdown that we have. So far, the Malaysian domestic economy is expected to grow just by 4%. Now take note, every time when we see this kind of bad news, the market, WYST, you can see on top here what you should do, that the market is ready to move higher. I've seen time and time again, many of this time all bad news, coupled with the charts that you see on the right hand side, you will see market started to move up. And that's one of the things that we hope to inform our SMARTRobie user and also the audience in here, is to take note of all these little small nuances. The market's going to move up. Of course, the other market that has done pretty well is the US market, which I will talk into shortly. Now, the tech stocks has done pretty well. So you can see from this report, Vitrox post record quarterly profits in here, and that's in term with the automation, the machine vision system and automated board. So the automation part, remember when it comes to tech stocks, on Wednesday we talk about the two sectors, which is the test equipment, the automation, as well as the semiconductors. So those are the two areas of technology that will do well in this coming month. Many of those reasons, so check out that video in here. So this report talks about the continuing growth, the quarterly net profit. What's very important I want to share with you, and those of you who are fundamentally driven, which I talk about the profit margin extension. And how do you check that? So just switch to a wider chart here. So you can see on top in here, we have the quarterly the quarterly net profit continue to go up, first quarter, second quarter. So you just type in Vitrox here, and you can see VTROX, okay? And of course, if you follow the green pentagon in here, right, you would have gone in so much earlier, which is around the, let me just pinch this up again, 4th of July, that's right, 4th of July, and right now it's 23rd. So you have gone in earlier on, and if you look at the Pentagon fact on the right hand side, you are already in the money, 15.7%. That's really one of the benefits. But I'm going to share with you the reason behind the fundamental, the reasons going up in here. If you look at the fundamentals under Vitrox, there you go. So you can see what we talk about, the margin expansion in there. No doubt it is pricey for 58 PE, but the ROE is 22% in here. So let's look at the Vitrox 4-year trend, and this is the part where you see, and for those of you who want to know reason why this thing done so well, is to switch over to quarterly, right? And you can look at the quarterly in here on the profit expansion in here. You can see, right, 19%. Then we have the first quarter 23%, and right now the second quarter for this round, it's going to be even slightly above the 23% profit margin. Now take note, every time when you have profit margin expansion, the chart is going to move up. Of course, from top here, you have the second quarter 50 million ringgit compared to 30 million ringgit. That's substantial enough. Vitrox, right now, it's not a time to buy, to be frank with you. It's time to take profit. When was it a time to buy? On the 4th of July, when you first see the green pentagon. As I said before, if you've been following me, and I have been saying that a lot of this big driver, big brother US will drive a lot of the stocks inside. And this morning, check out the premium alert. You'll see some of the tech stocks, which I mentioned on Wednesday, is already moving in here. So click on the tab menu for premium alert. All right, let's move on to our next story. So our next story will focus on Plantation. Now we all know Plantation hitting 4,100, but what is happening in here? United Plantation again registering 135 million for second quarter. Very, very good profit, seeing that increase. But let's take a look at the stocks. So we just type United here, and let's see United UTD PLT. Hit that one. All right, switching to a wider chart here, and right, and you can see here. So let's take a look at the chart wise. But having said that, the trend is really coming down. You can see here, 1st of April, right, the market breakdown and continue to come down in here. So I do take note. At one point, I think this morning, United Plantation should be up on this news. Let's take a look at stock price. Probably about 0.5%. Yeah, 0.6% in here. Nothing much to shout off. But what is really the telltale signs, okay, is the fundamental. Again, going back to the trend in here. Trends is very important, and what we want to look at is explore the margin expansion for the quarterly basis. So you can see here, right, on the right hand side, we have the margin, right, 28%, 25%, 18%. Right, and that's why the stocks is coming down. You can have prices, CPO prices going up, but if the net profit margin is coming down, you're going to have this kind of issue. That's why the stock price that we see continue to come down in here. There are other better, Plantation stocks, but do check out the profit margin and use the fundamental tab menu from SMARTRobie and switch over to TradingView to see those trends. I think that's important and one of the key things we want to teach our audience in here. Okay, let's look at our next story. So our next story is on Hong Seng, which is the healthcare rubber glove maker, and it backs a 112 million contract for the PCR test kit for the Ministry of Health in here. And usually this kind of news we all know lah, sudah jalan already. Okay, so Hong Seng, and if you look at Hong Seng here, right, and you can see Hong Seng stock chart and stock comment. Switching to a wider chart. Again, very similar in here. If you have gone in on the 4th of July, you can see there, right? The 4th of July is again the telltale sign that this stock's going to go. But right now, it's not the time to buy. Right now, it's the time to take profit. All right, take that. And if you look from the Pentagon Fed, Hong Seng is already up 87% from the last green Pentagon at 92 cents. Dating back to 6th of July. Interesting to note in here, okay? So, of course, many of these news will, people who don't understand the market will want to buy now, and you will see profit taking very, very soon for Hong Seng, right? Good news, take profit. Rumors, buy, all right? Okay, let's move on to our next story is the industrial REITs. Okay, the industrial REIT is really settling a good news in here, and partly that is driven by the what we call accelerated shift from e-commerce, where the brick and mortar, we all know shopping malls and offices, we cannot go back because of the continued lockdown that we see on our MCO in here. So what has happened is that everything is shifting to demands for warehouses. So definitely, and of course, things like electrical and electronics sector driving it, 5G rollout, those are, to me, are secondary. So if you look at exit REITs, they really haven't moved out yet. Now do take note, avoid shopping mall REITs, okay? Shopping mall REITs don't buy. So if you look at exit REITs here, and let's look at the stock price, stock chart here, which I did talk about in past episodes inside here. So you can see the resistance that is trying to break out about 195, 196 level in here. That's the level it's not going to fly like what we see for the tech stocks, but certainly those who want a very attractive yield, that's again going back to the what we call the dividend. And you can see dividend is 4.49%, 4.5% at this price that you're getting it. So good play, and again based on the dividend investing strategy, which I've talked about in one of our past Wednesday night issues. So make sure you watch that and follow it. There's a lot of good lesson learned, okay, if you just follow from some of the past video live FB that I have on YouTube, which is actually a continuation of the education what we're trying to do over here. All right, let's move on to the next story is what we call a value play for the second half of 2021, which was put out by CGX CIMB researchers. Those are saying like, look, if you are interested in the second half of 2021 and you wanted to focus on those large cap stocks, that's the one you want to be looking at in here. There are 7 trading teams in here. Lager plays, of course, these are travel, airlines, Tenaga, UMW, UMS, Genting. Then you have the M&A value play, media, UEM, LBS, Bonia, Capital Mall REITs. High dividends, Kosan, Hatalega, beneficial of this, of course, OPR hikes, which I don't think is likely. I don't think there's going to be any interest rate hike. Recovery play, Genting, Magnum, Media, Chinese, Valestos, Genting. Well, you use your opinion, what I've been talking about, the travel sectors, the leisure sectors. ESG, they're referring to environmental picks like Public Bank, Maybanks. The banks will probably stay stagnant in my opinion. Out of those, I only like the high dividend yielder. The Kosan, the Hatalega, they are certainly moving right now. All right, and then you have the Sharia picks, which is Sam Dhabi, Pet Ducks. Again, those are related to it. So take a look at them when you're free. When you're at home, just use SMARTRobie and check out the Green Pentagon, the trend zones, and of course those of you who have use those premium alert and the trending stock in here. Something for thought. All right. Of course, those 3 stocks I've talked about on Wednesday, that's right, is on the technology sector second half of 2021. Those of you who came, great. We talked about Inari, Penta and Unisam, and it's quite kind of interesting. This morning, I've checked this morning in here, Unisam, okay, and started, all these fellas all started to move up. As soon as I mentioned it, the fellas start to move up. Okay, so if you look at here, Unisam, and let's look at the stock price this morning. Switching to a wider chart here, you can see this morning Unisam is up 5%. That's right, up 5%, and it's going to get going because the tech stocks in US is already hitting the market resistant, okay, market resistant in here. So right now Malaysia will play catch up. Malaysia, I believe we still have another a week or 2 more of this kind of run going in, and then probably slow down a bit. Okay, so take note, check out that video too. Now on the US side, since we're talking about technology in here, I've spoke about the Delta variant, and there were many concerns from the audience as well as the public saying, I even heard some fund managers telling people to sell all their shares in US because of the Delta variant in here. But my prognosis was correct. As I said before, US market will concern more of shutdown, and shutdown will be due to more serious, serious hospitalization and death. But right now, that's not taking place. No doubt, the only mandate is the mask mandate, but there's no shutdown on businesses like what we see in the Malaysia. All right. So US has no concern, so the Delta variant would not derail the economy and earnings continue. But no doubt, let's switch over to the US side in here. And last night, let's hit the S&P 500. So you can see last night, this is where we have, and last night the S&P is up 0.2%, just on top of me here, just short of the target, I believe, is going to hit for 4,500. Now it's 4,367 in here. Let's look at the chart below here. And you can see we have a red pentagon, but that was a very classic shakeout. You notice the last shakeout they have was on 20th of June. Okay, switching to a wider chart here. You can see 20th of June, right? And the shakeout then it started to climb back up. Trend is still intact in here. Of course, it will eventually hit the 4,400, 4,500. That's the level that, we're going to see a little bit of action. But no doubt, we got still another 5 more months to go to year end. We will see higher S&P than what we see right now. I've been telling you, and you continue to follow us on the breakfast show in here. So moving on right now to the next sector or next stocks is Twitter. Now Twitter stock jump after earnings, and here's why. And this is because of the lockdown that we see. Technology sectors continue to move. Then many of them very similar. So you can see Twitter stock jump. Let's look at Twitter. Okay, and we already seen also Vitrox earlier on, right? So if you look at Twitter, TWTR. Okay, so Twitter, and let's look at stock jump. Same pattern in here. Someone already knows something. You can see this one is even earlier. You can see going back to 16th of May. Those earlier one that we have was around 4th of May, right? Vitrox all started to move. And if you look at this one here, it started to move from what is the price here? Of course, that price was around maybe $50. It went up to the red pentagon. You probably could take some profit around 65. So that's a nice, $20. Am I correct? $20. Is that right? $10 plus over 50. That's about 20% return on the nice Twitter stocks in here, which is now doing in here. Again, some of you may ask, is it time to go into US market? Again, use your judgment, use the Pentagon, use the trading plan, right, and then ride it. Okay, that's how we want to play this game in here. The tech stocks are certainly on the move. Check out the hot sectors on the tech stocks in here, and just go over the hot sectors. So right now, hot sectors in here, the real estates are coming back, then the tech and the healthcare, utilities, and followed by the cyclical, discretionary, right? Because a lot of those luxury goods are coming back. So these are your hot sectors for the US market in here. All right, now let's switch over to our neighbor in here, which is Singapore. Now Singapore, the business time, talk about a couple of stocks to look at: SGX, ESR, FCT, Trendline. Let's take a look at the first one here. Of course, we want to look at the STI market this morning. Right, so STI this market this morning in here, we have the, it's up 1.4%, really jalan already, started to move up, right? Let's take a look at the green pen. Has it turned green pentagon? Oh yes, it did turn green pentagon. Okay, so this is again a very good thing. You see Singapore turn, Malaysia is going to follow soon. So you can see this one already turned green pentagon today, right? So let's see whether we will turn maybe this week or maybe next week or so. That's for Malaysia side. And you can see in here a lot of the stocks are really moving up in here. But the stocks that we have in play is SGX, because that's the Bursa stocks. Okay, SGX will be BYJ, I think. Let's take a look at it. Now that's a Philip one, then SGX, BYI. BYI, no, that's still Philip. Okay, let's type Singapore Exchange. Okay, S68, it's X68. Okay, so it's X68 in here. So right now you can see, wow, look, check that one out. As you can see, the what price is it? SGX has moved beyond the $10 to $11. It's a very interesting comparison what we see here. You can see SGX, which is the Bursa, continue to go up because of the properly handling of the COVID cases. Now let's switch over to Malaysia. You can check Bursa. Okay, let's check out Bursa in here. You can look at the distinction between the two charts. And this is one of the things that I wanted to educate many of you in here. So you can start comparing, between good stocks, different country, and then eventually you say, hey, where am I going to put my money, right? So you can look at here is the Bursa stocks, and you can see trend down, one trend up. Interesting? There you know. Now you know, okay? So this is the KLCI, and we switch over to SGX. Of course, the stocks that in play is QAF, which is actually one of the trending stocks, a consumer stocks. If I'm not mistaken, QAF, one of the meat producer in here, and they are the owner of Gardenia. Okay, of course, one way to check this out is to type QAF under trending stocks. So QAF, okay, Q01. Okay, QAF, and hit this one here. No, let's type QAF. Okay, Q01. So QAF is Q01, okay? So you can see the stocks is bullish. And of course, we want to look at the stock fundamental to check out the website, okay? I just want to show you here, qaf.com.sg, hit that one here, and it's going to take you to a bit more information, food industry, okay? So they are into warehousing, bakery, yes. So bakery is Gardenia. You never know, Gardenia actually come from Singapore, but I think many of you take the Massimo, which I do, yeah. So you can see here, I love bread. So they can see those signs are the Gardenia signs in here. So if you like your Gardenia, this is the stock that you want to take, all right? So right now it's trending up again, playing into the COVID recovery that we've seen in Singapore is doing pretty well. It's moving up nicely. You can see the SGX. You can see our Bursa. I do take note at one time Bursa will pick up, but it's not going to pick up as fast as it is, okay? So let's move on to our update again for our Pentagon Guider. So how far and how well has your portfolio been doing for 2020 for our trading simulation on the back of the 35,000 we achieved, 106% return in here. And so far from January to July, we are up about 11-12% in here. And no doubt, remember, the June and July, the early July, we did have a big drop in here. Now compared to the 6% drop I potentially see there a little bit of a recovery for the KLCI, but it's not going to be a lot more. Again, this is where you need to think smartly. Many times, a lot of our traders, we think very emotionally. We think about the money. We don't think about the strategy. So when you think about your money, you will be frozen, just like the what we call the deer in front of the headlight. And guess what happened to the deer in front of the headlight? They all get run over, right? So don't fall into that. Get smart, get educated. All right, I cannot emphasize more. Get some sort of education, attend some sort of a course, and learn the proper way. If you don't do that, ask yourself, the last 2 to 3 years, how well has your portfolio doing? If you've been losing money for the last 3 years, please do something about it. All right, that's important too. Now let's look at the leaderboard past advanced trade idea in here. Again, the premium alert, since we are on Friday in here, many of this we try to get in within the week. You can see here the last two pick that we have on the 16th of July was Supermax and Emulus, and again those are picking up. So let me just look at what we talk about in here. So Supermax, we picked that on Supermax. Okay, so Supermax was on the early 16, that's right. So 16 switched to an hourly chart here, and let me just refresh this again. So now 16 here, this was where on the 16 the market pulled back a bit, then we hit new high. So we were somewhere around here. So that's how we had that 9% return. And the other one is, again, remember the tech stocks are moving, right? So we are picking those premium alert very early. So you can see on the 10 around here. So that's a nice one. And from that was around 91 cents. Now it did went up to $1. I think it's likely to go higher. So those are two nice double-digit return in less than a week. So not all trade. Remember the previous weeks we have some losing trade. Right now, again, the sectors are in our favor. Now one way you want to do that is always check out the hot sector, correspond the hot sectors back to the premium alert. Then your chance of making a good trade, a winning trade, is easier. That's how SMARTRobie designed to work. All right, let's move on to the stock trade idea for this week. We have two. One is D&O and WATTA. Now remember, the premium alert are updated every 30 minutes, so they keep changing in there. And you can see even Emulus, as we talked about this morning, is up 2%. So D&O is one of the EV car green player. You can see going higher right now in here, 543. Right, and started to move up nicely here. All right, so take note, this one, I know it's very pricey, but it's moving up in accordance with the technology stocks inside here. It's not going to be like crazy like Genin Tech, went from $4 to $18, but this one is pretty steady in here. So that's the first one. Second one is WATTA. So let's say you want to know WATTA, what they do. You just go on to the three little small dot here. You can go over to financials, and you can click on to overview, right? Pretty much know. Okay, now this one I think it's not here. So what you want to do is to find out what they do, just go over to fundamental, easier. Okay, if you want to know things they do, we take out this old resistance at 71 cents here. Now there's a pullback in here. This is a cheaper stock, 73 cents, but what it does, it has this pullback, push up, and those are the trade idea that I generally like. A little bit of pullback, then the market will continue to move back higher. So those are the two trade idea that we have, and we will come back next Friday to re-examine them again. Of course, let's move on to the next section, which is the trade setup that we already talked about. We want to see you have a line change, just like what we saw just now for WATTA and D&O, the line change. And remember, there's always going to be a temporary pullback. Of course, check out the Trade VSA tutorial that we have for you in here that explains many of it. Of course, our August intake is currently on, and we have a couple of people signing up. Thank you for your support. And for those of you who haven't been following me for a fair while but haven't signed up for a masterclass, do consider this. This is again part and parcel what we talk about, the education. If you look back on your performance that you have so far, how has been faring? Can we help you? Did we build a trust, ensuring the tools and the mentoring is up to your standard in here, because we want to show you how to make money in the KLSE and also in the US market in here that will continue to provide many of the good returns, many years to come. Okay, including our coaches. Of course, tomorrow is the one way to start off is our Trade VSA one-day course. So check it out in there. Do contact the registration in there 010-266-9761 if you're interested. And of course, check out our Trade VSA events for all our events in here. And next Wednesday, again, we will continue from where we left off today, is how to select stock that is ready to move higher. That will be on the 28th of July. So make sure you check it out on our live FB. Continue to bring you new content, fresh content, and educational material that will help you to advance your financial goals in here. All right, now we are reached to our section in here where we'll be looking a couple of stocks idea in here. Special thanks to our top sharer and our top fans in here, and to those of you who have not update or give us a feedback on our Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, do check it out if you have done a good job in here, especially SMARTRobie, which is the app that seems to be the all essential apps to use SMARTRobie in here. So continue to use it, and also subscribe to our All Exchange Pass for 800 credit, right, for all information in here. So let's take a look at some of the stocks that you'll want me to look at. That'll be great. Okay, there's no stocks in here. Gardenia also under NIC TSSM. Okay. So if there's no stocks, okay, let's take a look again. Any stocks that you want me to look at, just pencil those in, or probably you all have it well under cover because of the market, right? All well educated. So thank you for coming. So we're going to stop here for your time, and don't forget, tomorrow is our one-day trade view. Of course, for those of you who are our Masterclass members right in here, this course is available for you, and do join us then. All right, okay, we have a Cool here want me to look at Rubberex. Okay, let's look at Rubberex here. So Rubberex, Rubberex is still good. You know, remember, if you have gone, I do hope you went in during the green pentagon here lah, right? Or this one here, but it didn't hit the ATR stop loss, you will make money. But most people, they don't follow lah. They only want to buy now. If you follow in here, 86 cents, okay, to here, it's already 11% in the money. Again, always follow the green pentagon. You've been having these apps for some time already. Learn to trust it. Learn to follow those rules. That is the only way, I believe, will help you to make money. If not, get educated. Join our Masterclass. Cool. All right. I think you are cool. And for this one, Rubberex, no problem, no issues. Okay. Just that the pullback that you've seen, it didn't break through the ATR stop loss. Continue to run your profit. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you next week, next Monday on our breakfast show, and bye-bye again. And thank you for your support. I hope the time that you spend with me is well spent, so you learn something today.